Tonight, northern Saskatchewan is set to have 2 new uranium mines. Why some medical professionals are concerned over involuntary addictions treatment. And the NDP wants a new seniors housing policy canceled.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. The province of Saskatchewan is already a leader when it comes to uranium. But with the federal government giving the go-ahead on 2 new mines, there's hope that the precious radioactive metal could provide a huge economic boost as well. Damian Smith has more.
2 new uranium mining projects are set to proceed in northern Saskatchewan following recent federal approval. Construction of the Denison Mines Wheeler River project and NexGen Energy's Rook 1 project are both expected to take about 2 years and are the first new uranium mines approved since 2004.
It spells out good news all around. I mean, we're a stable province and a stable country with a great source of uranium, the best uranium you're going to find in this world.
There's just not enough uranium fuel going around. And so, thank goodness we were doing the work we were doing back in 2011, 2013, 2014 when we made the discovery, because it does take a long time to bring the fuel into a reactor.
NexGen says 600 people have gone through 15 training programs to work on the mine, and the permitting process was the final step.
And the benefit of a long permitting process is, we've had a long time to plan, test our plan, test our systems, build a culture, develop a workforce.
According to the government of Saskatchewan, over 3,300 jobs are in the uranium sector across the province, with 43% of mine site workers being residents of northern Saskatchewan. So far, NexGen has sold uranium to U.S. utilities, while Denison plans to sell in Canada, the United States, Western Europe, and Democratic Asia.
They know that when they buy uranium from Saskatchewan, that it's been safely regulated and that it's a sustainable source of production, and so they can purchase from us with great trust.
NexGen says that the construction and the initial operations phase will generate an estimate of $32.5 billion in total economic impact.
It means for them it means generational positive change for those communities across all fronts, creating businesses, creating long-lasting careers.
Damian Smith, CTV News, Regina.
The provincial government is facing opposition to a new policy that will force some seniors to move out of their public housing units. The government wants them to relocate to buildings designated for people aged 55 and older. As Wayne Mantika tells us, some groups feel it's ageism and is calling on the province to rescind the policy.
Some long-term residents of this Regina public housing complex are being told that they have to move out because they are now seniors, and the government has other housing specifically designed for older residents. A group that advocates for seniors is shocked by the new policy.
Why would we expect individuals who have lived peacefully within all of the regulations of the housing for 30 or 12 years and are comfortable there, know their community, why should they be the ones to pay the price that there aren't enough family units for families?
Deb Stumpf is one of the seniors who received her notice from Regina Housing. She moved into her apartment 30 years ago, but is being forced to relocate by May 31st. The government wants to free up one-bedroom suites like hers for families.
To me, that is discrimination against us seniors.
The NDP believe the new policies should be rescinded.
And if you need more housing, well, figure it out. You're the government. Do you want to be known as the government that kicked a grandma out of her housing after being there 30 years? No.
There are exemptions that allow landlords to designate properties specifically for those 55 plus, but it's not clear whether the rules apply the other way around. Asking existing tenants to leave at age 55 could be subject to appeal. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Some medical experts are warning the Saskatchewan government's compulsory addictions treatment plan may not play out in practice as well as it sounds in theory. Donovan Mace explains why.
As the province works through passing its plan to make addictions treatment compulsory in some circumstances, the Saskatchewan Medical Association questions how it will work and urges the province to proceed with caution.
People need to buy into these treatments. These are life life-changing decisions that people are making.
Dubbed the Compassionate Intervention Act, the provincial government says compulsory treatment supports individuals with severe addictions who are not capable of seeking help despite serious health and safety risks. Arnold says there is no evidence supporting involuntary treatment alone leads to successful rehab.
People will have had a sudden decrease in their tolerance, and if they haven't had the supports that they need in place to maintain their sobriety when they leave, if they go out and use the same substances they used before, they're at increased risk of overdose.
The College of Physicians and Surgeons of Saskatchewan siding with the SMA in a statement saying there is currently an insufficient number of facilities to provide appropriate treatment for individuals who are voluntarily seeking help. Minister of Mental Health and Addictions Lori Carr says she's met with both organizations to address their concerns.
We don't agree on everything, but what we do agree is that we need to get individuals help.
Carr reiterating the bill aims to get those in severe situations into treatment.
This is for those individuals that actually don't have the capacity to make that decision on their own. So what we're doing is we're finding a space for those individuals.
It's really a decision that a person needs to make and be supported in making that decision and receive continual supports.
The government says it remains on track to pass the act through the legislature during this spring session. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
Heading into Easter, Regina's Urgent Care Center again running reduced hours this Saturday with the center fully closed on Easter Sunday. Urgent Care will be open normally for Good Friday tomorrow, but will close at 4 p.m. on Saturday and close entirely on Sunday. Patients will be redirected to Regina's 2 emergency rooms when the Urgent Care Center is not open. Saskatchewan Health Authority is reminding people that severely immunocompromised adults and children are now eligible to be immunized against COVID-19. Between April 1st and June 15th, all adults 65 and older, adults that are 18 and older in long-term care, private care homes, and other group living settings, as well as anyone that's moderately or severely immunocompromised, are eligible for the shot. People can make an appointment at SHA clinics and participating pharmacies. The sentencing hearing for a Regina man found guilty of fatally stabbing 19-year-old Misha Pavlik in 2006 wrapped up today, with the Crown making its case to why the man should serve his sentence as an adult. Sierra D'Souza Butts was in court and has the details.
The Crown and defense have concluded their closing sentencing submissions for the man convicted of killing Misha Pavlik nearly 20 years ago. The 19-year-old was fatally stabbed at a grad party near Regina Beach on May 21, 2006. In November, a 37-year-old Regina man was found guilty of second-degree murder in connection with Pavlik's death. The man was 17 at the time and can't be named under the Youth Criminal Justice Act. During sentencing submissions, Crown prosecutor Adam Brecker laid out a pattern of offenses the man committed before and after the night Pavlik died, which included causing bodily harm, dangerous driving, and mischief, supporting his case to sentence the man as an adult and not a youth. Also making its submissions this afternoon, defense lawyer Andrew Hitchcock says the man was heavily influenced by his peers, referring back to the neuropsychologist's report saying, quote, "The pattern as a youth was being around antisocial peers, drinking, which led to him to get in trouble." Based on the Youth Criminal Justice Act, Hitchcock says the law has to be applied to him from the point of view of how he was at 17. Given the number of impact statements made by Pavlik's family and friends, along with a neuropsychologist and a community corrections worker, it will take time to review. Justice Catherine Dawson is expected to deliver a decision on May 26. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Easter long weekend is upon us, Sabine, and weather conditions going to be okay. I don't think we're going to have any issues when it comes to heavy snow that we've seen a while ago on Easter Sunday.
Yeah, no. As of right now, I mean, both of our friends to the east and west are going to see some of that snow coming through, and southwest Saskatchewan has seen some snow coming through today, but Alberta and Manitoba will be dealing more so with the systems that are coming up from the south, leaving us with mostly cloudy conditions, so may not have a very sunny Easter Sunday, but the temperatures will start to warm up even more so compared to what we saw today. Now, in terms of temperatures for today, our average daytime all-time high is about 7 degrees, and we warmed up to just over 1 degree, closer to about 2 degrees late this afternoon. Didn't really deal too much with wind chill values, but it is the winds that we were dealing with. The wind gusts were quite strong. Tonight, actually, current temperatures even for southern Saskatchewan, we're still hovering above zero for many parts of the province, or for the south. Wind chill is affecting some parts along that southern border there. Of course, that's also due to that system that's hovering just south of the border as well. But I'll have more details coming up, including how warm it's going to get heading into the weekend in your forecast. Lee?
Thank you, Sabine. Parts of Saskatchewan have been granted emergency use of strychnine to address the gopher population. But as Mick Favel tells us, a number of areas have been left off that list despite an increase in the pesky rodent.
Darren Gosling is standing in his field next to a gopher hole. With some water nearby and food on the way, it's the perfect location for a gopher. He says the ground squirrel has always been an issue, but the problem has gotten worse since the 2024 strychnine ban.
We had way better control when we had strychnine. I've used it in my earlier years of farming, and you could just tell the areas that were treated. In the spring, the damage, the holes were no longer there.
Some Saskatchewan producers have been given the green light to use strychnine for 18 months. But RMs like Lake Johnson have been excluded, even though they are dealing with a severe gopher problem. With the available solutions, the gophers have become a complex task that is now eating up time and resources.
We're going out, taking these machines and spending probably 2/3 of a day treating and shooting, doing whatever we can to try and save our crop.
The RM of Mariposa has also been left off the list, a place that has felt the impacts of the growing gopher population. According to the Reeve, a crop insurance claim was filed in the area a few years ago for 140 acres of canola.
Every single canola seed that had germinated and come out of the ground had immediately been nipped off. And so, very similar to locusts, the gophers just completely decimated an entire field of canola.
With tariff talks, fuel prices, and drought, there's a lot to be concerned about for producers. Gosling says strychnine would help fix a nagging issue that is not going away.
We need such big yields now to hit break-even points, and that is one of my major concerns, is just our margins are so tight, and we have to grow such a big crop to cover our end.
Those who can use strychnine will be able to do so in July. Mick Favel, CTV News, near Mossbank.
Plans are moving forward for a permanent memorial at the site of the Humboldt Broncos bus crash. The memorial will be built at Highways 35 and 335 near Tisdale and include pathways, a sitting area, and a monument in honor of the 16 who lost their lives and the 13 others that are forever impacted. In addition to the memorial, a future recreation facility is planned, which will include tribute elements that reflects the outpouring of support received from around the world following the crash. A Saskatchewan woman says she's out thousands of dollars after an insurance payout never reached her account. Now police are investigating the situation as fraud. Laura Woodward has more on what's being described as a stealthy email takeover scam.
This is how I keep my sanity.
Frances Iwanchuk turns to crocheting to cope with what's become a stressful situation. Back in January, Iwanchuk's son hit a deer, writing off the family vehicle. SGI approved an $11,000 payout, offering to send the money online.
So I thought, well, perfect, it'll come with e-transfer.
She says her SGI adjuster provided the e-transfer password over the phone.
As soon as I was done talking to him, I just went in and did it, but it wouldn't work.
But her adjuster told her the money was successfully deposited.
Unfortunately, we are unable to reissue payment due to these findings.
Iwanchuk's bank told her it can't say who received the money or where it was deposited, but pointed to fraud as a possible explanation.
This is very stressful.
Iwanchuk later realized the e-transfer was spam, sent from an email not associated with SGI. She went into an SGI office to confirm the adjuster's phone number.
It was legit. I was talking to the right people.
Call display can be spoofed.
Tech expert Carmi Levy says just because the phone number matched doesn't mean the person on the other end was an SGI employee.
This looks like an email account takeover,
with fraudsters likely gaining access to Iwanchuk's email ahead of time, quietly watching.
and then they very quickly pounce.
So that e-transfer she received, it's not an e-transfer at all. It's just a link, a way for scammers to get in?
Exactly. And what they were doing is they knew through, in some way, that she was expecting a payment. And so they capitalized on that.
Levy believes the real e-transfer was sent, but it was intercepted and redirected. In an email to CTV News, SGI says it can't comment on specific claims, but confirmed it does provide e-transfers up to $25,000. Battleford's RCMP are investigating the case, and Iwanchuk is hopeful police can recover the money.
We need that money. We're down a vehicle, and I mean, that's not petty cash.
While waiting for answers, she's trying to keep calm, one stitch at a time. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
And if you drive around downtown Regina, get ready. Construction season has started again. The 11th Avenue revamp is entering year 4 and will begin with a closure on 11th Avenue between Scarth Street and Cornwall Street. Pedestrian traffic and business access will stay open as crews work on upgrades to the street, which includes wider sidewalks, better lighting, and new trees. The project is expected to be finished next year. Still ahead, the Conservatives call on the federal government to temporarily cut the gas tax. And Alberta is hit by an earthquake. Crude oil prices shot up today after the U.S. president's televised address last night, where he said nothing really new on Iran. Gas prices in Canada soared, prompting a call from the Conservative leader to give Canadians a tax break. And now Amazon says sellers will also pay a price. Graham Richardson has the latest.
Food truck driver Maurice knows all about the pain at the pumps.
I fill up every 2 days.
So what was it and what is it?
It used to be 100. Now it's 140.
And it's not just what you pay here. Input costs are going up everywhere, which eventually will trickle down to consumers buying off the shelves. On Thursday, Amazon announced it will now charge an extra 3.5% for anyone selling on the giant site, directly because of higher fuel costs.
Good folks. Thank you. There's someone who wants to pay less for gas.
Stepping into all of this economic pain, Pierre Poilievre, Conservatives now pushing the Carney government to declare a tax holiday on all fuel. Zero tax until the end of 2026.
Every single thing you buy has to be transported by truck and train using fuel. By cutting the fuel tax, you lower the cost of everything and make paychecks go further.
This is an expensive idea that would cost the government more than $5.5 billion to implement in this year alone. Conservatives say a cut to zero federal tax for the rest of the year would drop 25 cents per liter off the average fuel price, saving a family of 4 more than $1,200. Poilievre points to Australia, Spain, and Ireland. They've all cut fuel taxes to ease the pain for consumers. In a taping for CTV's Question Period this weekend, Transport Minister Steve McKinnon said this about possible gas tax relief.
It's an interesting idea that I heard from Mr. Poilievre, but I haven't been part of any discussion about removing the gas tax.
Like so many Canadians, Maurice has met this latest surge in costs with more of a shrug than anger, at least for now. And he doesn't have a choice.
I've been doing this for 51 years. And I've never seen it this high.
So what are the chances the government takes Conservative suggestion to drop the gas tax to zero? Probably zero. But the Carney Liberals are under increasing pressure to do more, to do something, to give consumers a break as gas prices remain sky high. Graham Richardson, CTV News, Ottawa.
The war in the Middle East is not only driving up prices at the pump, it's also causing jet fuel prices to spike, meaning your vacation will likely be more expensive, according to Flight Centre Canada. It says some airlines are now introducing fuel surcharges on tickets to try and recoup the costs associated with the war in Iran. The increase may be included as a separate line for a fuel surcharge on a ticket, or it may just be that your seat on the aircraft will cost you more. Some cruise ships have also started raising their prices. Now, Donald Trump's threat about breaking away from NATO comes as Canadians face a potential tax hike if Ottawa is to meet its commitment to the alliance. A new report from an independent policy think tank suggests the Fed should consider increasing the GST to pay for Canada's promise to increase defense spending. Judy Trin has the details.
Canada plans to spend much more on defense. It needs to replace aging submarines, to buy new fighter jets, and build up Arctic security. Investments that come with a huge bill.
It won't be easy, and I think that this is part of the discussion that Canadians need to have.
After more than a decade, Canada finally reached 2% of GDP spending in 2025, but NATO members have now set a 5% target for 2035. That means spending $150 billion a year.
We embarked on this mission to protect Canadians, to defend our territory, to protect our borders, and to boost our sovereignty. Because nous sommes maîtres chez nous. We control our destiny.
By 2035, the federal government could spend as much on defense as it does on provincial transfer payments for healthcare and education. The C.D. Howe Institute says the government needs to increase the GST rate of 5% to 6%, or even back up to 7%.
There's a compromise solution that exists that involves a little bit of increase to the GST, so perhaps 1 percentage point or 2 percentage points, and then some decrease in the growth rate of other forms of government spending. In particular, transfers to the provinces is something that we should discuss.
Although the government launched a defense industrial strategy to build more weapons to export to other countries, it may not be enough.
Are there likely going to be positive spillover effects from that plan? Yes. Are they going to be sufficient to pay for the entire increase in defense spending? Most certainly not.
If the government decides it doesn't want to raise taxes, it could borrow money, which means sinking further into debt. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, parts of Alberta were jolted by a moderate earthquake. Earthquakes Canada reported a magnitude 4.5 quake north of Edmonton just before 5:30 p.m. last night. There are no reports of damage, but one person in the town of Legal, a small community that's north of Edmonton, emailed CTV News to say they heard a loud boom and then felt their house shaking. Well, this is Holy Thursday for Christians, and at the Vatican, the Pope has begun events leading up to Easter Sunday. Today, the pontiff blessed the oil that is used in Catholic religious ceremonies throughout the year. Pope Leo also warned against the abuse of power and the desire for domination. He called for unity and peace in this dark hour of history. Tomorrow, the pontiff will preside over the Good Friday procession at Rome's Colosseum, a late-night Easter vigil on Saturday, followed, of course, by Easter Sunday. Coming up, other than chilly conditions, the Artemis 2 mission is going well. Details after the break.
Hello. Let's get into your forecast for your long weekend. Started out not too bad. I mean, we didn't have snow. We didn't have sunshine either, which I know affects many people's spirits for the day. We did have a warmer day, though, warming up to about 2 degrees late this afternoon. Currently sitting at +1 with the winds at 30 kilometers an hour. And this, again, is just showing us over the last couple of hours of what we did deal with and saw. And this is that snow that we've seen coming through parts of the southwest due to a system that largely made its way into Alberta, but we're still seeing a little bit more than what originally was looking like would be coming through. So it doesn't look like we're seeing freezing rain. It's been mostly snow, and there's still a little bit more to go. I wanted to throw the almanac in here because I know many folks like to see the almanac, and there was one number that wasn't updated, so I wanted to make sure I go go back and fix that. So again, we warmed up to about 2 degrees today. The average is 6 degrees during this time of year. And we'll get there by about Saturday, and then we'll see the temperature drop slightly after that. So that's a quick look at that. This is what's to come. So we're still going to be dealing with some of that snow in the southwest heading into this evening, and we should start to see it completely break up and clear out by the time we start our Good Friday. Still dealing with mostly cloudy conditions, and there is this chance we're going to see some of that snow in the north. But for most of Friday, again, a mix of sun and cloud for parts of the west and parts of the east, and we'll still see mostly cloudy conditions for southern Saskatchewan. And then there is some more precipitation, just a little, coming through Saturday morning. For northern Saskatchewan, more of it will be in snow form, but as it continues to make its way into central southern Saskatchewan, late afternoon Saturday, expecting to see just some scattered showers coming through the area. Saturday looks like it's going to be the warmest day for the weekend especially, and those temperatures will be quite warm, like not quite warm, but I guess back into seasonal range. There are double digits on the way, and you'll see that in your 7-day forecast. But once that system clears out, we will start to see mostly cloudy conditions entering in for your Easter Sunday, and that's where we'll also see the temperature drop a little bit as well. So this is a quick look at your snowfall totals between now and to Friday morning. Again, mostly southwest Saskatchewan dealing with that snow, and then as we progress into Saturday, we'll start to see more of that snow coming through parts of northern Saskatchewan and even parts around central Saskatchewan, seeing some trace amounts of snow. But other than that, it's the temperatures we're going to talk about. Heading into tomorrow, just a little bit of a continuation warming up from today. 4 degrees for La Loche and La Ronge, 3 for Lloydminster and Prince Albert. Mostly cloudy continuing as we take a look at North Battleford, 3 and some snow there. Cloudy and 2 degrees for Saskatoon, a mix of sun and cloud, and 2 for Yorkton, the southwest. 4 as we continue to see that system breaking up. Maple Creek will see a little bit more of that snow tomorrow morning. 4 degrees there. Cloudy and 3 for Swift Current, cloudy and 4 for Moose Jaw. Similar temperatures for the southeast. 5 and cloudy for Weyburn, 4 and cloudy for Assiniboia, 3 and cloudy for Estevan, and for Regina, -4 tonight, winds up to 40 kilometers an hour, calming down up to about 15 kilometers an hour tomorrow with a mix of sun and cloud, and +4 is the expected high. And here's a look at your next 7 days. So not too bad of a forecast coming up. For tomorrow, again, +4 and a mix of sun and cloud. By Saturday, warming up to 8 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. And by Sunday, that's where we'll see the temperature drop. More clouds rolling in for Easter Sunday. So cloudy conditions, +2 staying heading into Monday, but mainly sunny conditions. And then by Tuesday, we should be seeing a expected high of about 10 degrees. Could be even a little warmer than that, but the winds will start to pick up. We'll see the winds gusting up to 50 kilometers an hour starting on Tuesday. By Wednesday, actually, I should also point out, Tuesday evening, there's a chance we could see some precipitation in the form of rain coming through. Wednesday, we could also see a little bit of that mixed precipitation as well, with the wind still gusting up to 50 kilometers an hour. 3 degrees Wednesday, and by Thursday, a mix of sun and cloud and an expected high of 4 degrees. So as of right now, for the next 7 days, we're seeing those temperatures above zero and even some double digits expected by Tuesday.
Sounds good, especially with the long weekend ahead.
That's
Thanks,
right.
Sabine.
You bet.
Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen is spending the day in orbit as the Artemis 2 mission gets ready to kick into high gear. The crew is testing systems, preparing for an engine burn that'll set them on course for the moon. But as Jonathan Valley-Rao tells us, the mission has had a few glitches.
3, 2, 1, booster ignition.
After a picture-perfect launch and 8-minute ride into space, part of which was captured out the window of a passenger jet,
welcome on board the Integrity spacecraft.
The astronauts have had a very productive first day in orbit, checking systems while simulating a rendezvous with another spacecraft and making course adjustments.
The systems, though, are performing very well. We anticipate that they continue to.
Great job, Victor. The astronauts have noted that it is cold in the capsule, which is being addressed. And initially, there was a problem with a lone toilet on board, but that has been fixed, with officials saying glitches are expected, given this is the first time humans have ever flown in the Orion spacecraft.
You can expect that with such a complex systems along the mission, different little anomalies will blip up and down and they'll be resolved. That's par for the course.
Following a 6-minute engine burn today, it will take the astronauts 4 days to get to the moon. Once there, they'll loop around it, with some hoping they'll capture on Monday a stunning view like this of the Earth rising from behind the moon.
I know that they're really going to try to make that happen. I can't give you a confirmation on that yet, but stay tuned.
And yeah, it's a tiny space. It's about the size of a camper van.
In a pre-recorded video, Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen showed just how tight the interior of the capsule is. The 4 astronauts have sleeping bags that can be tethered to the spacecraft walls. And during the trip, they'll test exercise gear, which will be important to long missions in space.
They are taking a very small piece of equipment called a flywheel, and so they're going to be doing exercise every single day.
The astronauts describing the view from space as phenomenal as they head to the moon.
And we will likely hear directly from Hansen this weekend during a video chat from space. John Valley-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
Still ahead, the Regina Pats are down to their last lifeline in their WHL series with the Medicine Hat Tigers. Regina Pats are facing elimination in the WHL playoffs, trailing 3-1 to the Medicine Hat Tigers.
Andrew Basha up the middle, a breakaway. Here's Davidson, a step behind the defense. He scores!
Tigers scored 2 in the first, 2 more in the second, and rode to a 4-2 win over the Regina Pats last night. Flames prospect Andrew Basha, a pair of assists for the win, while the Pats had goals from Zachary Lansard and Ruslan Karamov.
They're a good team. They got experience over there, so that's what good teams do. We just got to learn to weather the storm and push back. Just talking to the guys after the game, we're hungry. We want to go down swinging, so that's what our plan is.
We know what we're up against. We don't need a scoreboard to tell us, what needs to happen next. So this team has always played its best hockey when our back's been against the wall, and I don't expect anything else come Saturday.
Game 5 is back in Medicine Hat. That game actually will happen on Saturday night. After beating the Melville Millionaires for the second straight SJHL postseason, Yorkton Terriers are ready to face the Battleford's North Stars in the second series of the playoffs. Head coach and GM Emery Olsen says it will be a tight series, both teams finishing the season with 76 points. In his second season with Yorkton, goaltender Caleb Craig has been solid in the pipe so far, averaging just a little more than 2 goals per game in the playoffs. The Terriers will also lean on last year's experience when they went to the league's semifinals as well.
This was now, an expectation and almost an eventuality for us, which is important because, now in the second round we're looking to do better than we were last year, and I do think we're more prepared for it.
Game 1 is Friday in Yorkton. Attendance there is averaging more than 1,600 for the playoffs. Well, next month, the Riders will head to Saskatoon for training camp as the defending Grey Cup champions. Quarterback Trevor Harris excited to see what kind of jump the receiving corps can make together, believing 4 receivers could crack 1,000 yards. As for the team, he feels the sky's the limit.
To say that I came to Saskatchewan just to win one would be a lie. I didn't come here to win a Grey Cup or to win 1 Grey Cup or to even win 2. I came here to see how high we could. To leave this place a better place than we found it. And Coach Mace has done a great job leading the troops to do that. And I think we're in the beginning stages of a great era to be a Saskatchewan Rough Rider, and I'm just grateful that I get to be a part of it. And I'm looking forward to hopefully taking this organization another step further this year and making this organization and team where it needs to be in terms of history and historic greatness.
Rookie camp starts May 6th in Saskatoon with main camp on May the 10th. Saskatchewan made plenty of noise at both the Olympics and Paralympics in Milano Cortina, from Emily Clark's performance getting silver in women's hockey to Gil Dash winning gold in wheelchair curling. As Jacob Carr shows us today, all the athletes, coaches and officials were officially honored at the Legislative Building.
You have honored Saskatchewan and you have honored Canada.
A contingent of Saskatchewan Olympians were on hand to be acknowledged by the Minister of Parks, Culture and Sport. That included wheelchair curling gold medalist Gil Dash, who described how the winning moment felt.
And just a huge release of emotion, just relief and happiness, and to be able to go out on the ice and have the Canadian flag, that is big, proud moment.
Also on hand was Karen Howard from Melville, who judged the figure skating competition in Italy.
It's such a privilege and such an honor. I remember watching the Olympics, back when they were in Calgary, and I said, I want to be there someday as an official. And it's, been a lot of dedicated work.
Both Howard and Dash relived some of their most cherished moments from being a part of the competitions. For Howard, it was witnessing a Canadian figure skating duo step onto the podium.
My real highlight, I think, would have been Piper and Paul winning their bronze medal. I've watched them for many years, and it was so beautiful to see that special moment in Milano Cortina.
For Dash, he pointed out a moment where he was heading to the Venice airport with a private shuttle driver.
We stopped in traffic, ran around, slid my side door open so the guy had the camera right there, and we're singing "We Are the Champions of the World," and everyone's there. That was a great time as well.
So whether it be an athlete or a judge, plenty of Saskatchewan products making the province proud for their accomplishments at both the Olympics and Paralympics. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Still ahead, the NDP is concerned with recent tuberculosis cases in Saskatchewan.
Let's take a look at your rural forecast heading into Friday, Good Friday, heading into a long weekend. We'll still see mostly cloudy conditions, but again, those temperatures are gradually getting warmer and warmer, like areas in and around the Hudson Bay area. +4 cloudy, 3 and cloudy for Lloydminster and Meadow Lake, and for Outlook, and 2 degrees for Spiritwood, Watrous, Kindersley, and +1 for Melfort. Wynyard also +1. Little peak of sunshine there, but mostly cloudy conditions. And the story continues as we get closer to the southern border. Of course, the southwest still going to be seeing the tail end of some snow there. 4 degrees for Maple Creek, 2 for East End Cypress, and 3 for Rosetown. And then cloudy and 3 for Leader and Rockland, and even Broadview over in the southeast. 2 and cloudy for Carlisle, 2 and a mix of sun and cloud for Kenora, and Lumsden and Pilot Butte. A mix of sun and cloud, and +4 is the expected high. If we take a closer look at Springside, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel. Tomorrow, expecting a daytime high of 1 degree. A mix of sun and cloud. Winds not too bad, anywhere between 10 to 15 kilometers an hour. However, the +1 with a wind chill of about -1 for your Good Friday.
A Saskatoon nonprofit is raising concerns as prairie harm reduction faces a major financial shortfall, saying it could put more pressure on other community organizations. The Saskatoon Indian and Métis Friendship Centre says it's seeing more people turn to them for support. CTV News asked the PHR board about its role in financial oversight, but did not receive a response. Now, earlier this week, Health Canada suspended PHR's exemption to operate a safe consumption site, while the province cut $2.5 million in annual funding for its services. The Friendship Centre says if more services disappear, pressure on other organizations will grow. The provincial NDP says that Internal Health Authority information shows that 22 cases of tuberculosis diagnosed between January 1st of 2025 and February 28th of this year across Prince Albert and surrounding areas. The NDP says the general public has the right to know if there is a tuberculosis outbreak in order to take preventative measures. The province says the risk, though, to the general public is low.
It is not easily spread. To be infected, you generally must have a close friend, frequent or prolonged contact over a long period of several hours with someone to become infectious. When public health becomes aware of a TB case, work is done to identify and directly contact people who have been potentially exposed.
The NDP right now claiming there are active cases in northern Saskatchewan. All right, let's go to the farm markets. The street price of canola is up 70 cents to $671, 3 cents per ton. The futures price up $9 to $727 per ton. Amber Durum wheat is $278, 59 cents per ton, while red spring wheat is up 37 cents to $281, 70 cents per ton. Feed barley, no movement, $245, 58 cents per ton, although it moved slightly yesterday. Flax, $670, 54 cents per ton. Those prices courtesy of Bunge and Ice Futures Canada. Markets. TSX went up 150 points, while the Dow Jones went down slightly by 61 points. As for the Canadian dollar, it went down a little less than 0.2 cents to 71.83 cents U.S. On the commodities front, gold down $81.81. West Texas Intermediate crude hiked high after the news from President Trump yesterday, up $11.42. It's now over $110 a barrel, while Western Canadian Select crude dropped by almost $5 to 75.40 cents a barrel. Gas in Regina right now has been affected. It has jumped up to $1.75.9 cents per liter.
Hello there. Iran's shutdown of oil and gas shipments through the crucial Strait of Hormuz continued to drive energy prices higher around the world today. Bloomberg said the world's most important oil contract, so-called dated Brent for immediate delivery, surged above $140 US a barrel, the highest since 2008. Desperate refiners are scrambling to get hold of whatever barrels they can. Iran has paralyzed ship traffic through the Strait of Hormuz after it was attacked in late February by the US and Israel. They want to end Tehran's nuclear program. In New York, oil topped $112, the highest since Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. In a speech last night, U.S. President Donald Trump offered little or no clarity on when the war will end. The shutdown of material shipments from the Gulf also threatens to raise prices for packaging because the supply of crucial materials for plastic has been cut off. Fertilizer exports have been blocked, hiking costs for farmers, and aluminum prices have jumped after Iranian attacks on plants in the region. Finally, Industry Minister Melanie Joly has ruled out the use of so-called knockdown kits if automaker Stellantis wants to go ahead with Chinese electric vehicle production at its idled Ontario factory. She says any plan to build or supply Chinese electric vehicles from Ontario must be supported by the provincial government and the workers' union. We can't bring cars in a kit to Canada, Joly told reporters. It needs to support the local supply chain. That's the latest in business. I'm Andrew Bell of BNN Bloomberg.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, we got Next Level Chef, followed by 911 Nashville. Grey's Anatomy at 9 o'clock. George and Mandy's first marriage at 10. E-Talk, and then you've got your local national news 11, local news at 11:30. Okay, WCP Mini World Cup Soccer Tournament is underway in Regina.
Yep. This is the 20th year of the event, which brings together multiculturalism in sport. More than 100 teams are participating, representing different countries. Ages range from U9 to the Legends, which is Lee and his team, 45 and up.
I think it's extra special this year, of course, being the 20th year, but also the fact that the FIFA World Cup is being hosted in Canada. So the energy is really palpable and people are more excited than ever to just be playing this sport and thinking about this sport. So to have a mini replica of that in our city feels extraordinary.
You can keep going.
The event runs this weekend with the youth games and next weekend with the adult matches.
That's right. Went this morning. Good soccer, if you have a chance to go see it. What do we got next?
Well, as the prompter says, I'm looking forward to this. Ooh. After a big win, you would. At the Oscars, the team behind Weapons is moving ahead with plans for a prequel focused on one of the characters in particular. Are you joking?
Oh, no, it's not serious. Nothing terminal. It's just a touch of consumption.
A touch of consumption?
Oh, it's not serious. It is serious to me. Back in August, we mentioned reports of a potential prequel focused on Aunt Gladys. Amy Madigan won the Best Actress trophy
for sure.
Supporting actress in a movie about the classroom of children mysteriously disappearing overnight. Now the writing team is expanding. The Hollywood Reporter says Godzilla and King Kong screenwriter Zach Shields is joining Weapons creator Zach Krieger on the new title, tentatively named Gladys.
It's scary.
We can't wait to see it. Sabine's going to be in line to watch it on opening.
I will not be. Do we have time? We have 20 seconds just for that.
Okay.
You're trying one of these lovely KFC jelly beans.
KFC jelly beans. So
They're fried chicken,
yeah,
sweet corn, or gravy.
Okay, well, we'll find out what this one is.
What is it? He's waiting to spit it out. Thank you all for joining us this week. Have a happy Easter. We'll see you next week.